The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. My name is Mark Levine, and I am the Deputy Director of your New York State Association of Counties. On behalf of our President, Jack Marin, and our Executive Director, Stephen Aquario, I want to thank you for joining us this morning for a webinar on the power of new building air filtration systems that can protect against COVID-19. One of the aspects of this job is that no day is ever the same, and I always learn something new about counties and what they are doing to help serve New Yorkers. In all my years with NYSAC, I did not anticipate hosting a webinar on HVAC filtration systems, yet that's where we are, and that's just what we're doing. In today's pandemic world, in New York State, as counties are charged with enforcing the reopening processes in our communities across the state, this is critically timely and important webinar. We are pleased that we are able to provide this air filtration engineering training this morning. If you have questions during this presentation, please type them into your questions box on your webinar dashboard. We will take up all of these questions after the conclusion of this morning's presentation. I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsor who is helping to make this webinar possible, the John W. Danforth Company. As a one-stop building solutions provider, Danforth provides strategically integrated services which allows their team to take a comprehensive view of their customers' facilities and offer the very best in custom-tailored solutions. Their focus areas include HVAC systems, lighting, air filtration, plumbing systems, project development, design build, energy solutions, performance contracting, and preventative maintenance for county government markets. Additionally, their team can provide county governments with potential procurement financing through mechanisms such as Gordian, National Grid, and the New York Power Authority. For more information, visit jwdanforth.com or contact Eugene Walbaro at ewalbaro@jwdanforth.com. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning. Our presenter is Vincent Lobdell, President and CEO of Healthway Family Brands. For more than 30 years, Healthway has provided the most effective technology to improve indoor air quality. Their innovations are used worldwide in numerous types of applications, from medical facilities and clean rooms to residences, hotels, and cruise ships. And this pandemic has really amped up their portfolio across the world, as you will hear from our speaker. Healthway's mission is about more than just providing the purest possible indoor air quality for their customers. It's about doing the right thing for their employees, customers, and business partners. Their products are powerful, and so is their spirit. Vinny, thank you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Hey, Mark, thank you for the opportunity to share this with your audience. And Jeanette, thank you for setting this up. The intention of today, when you guys requested this, was really to kind of give you an oversight of our brand, give you an understanding of what our expertises are, and not really talk about products, but more importantly talk to you about the scope of what we can potentially help you with, and how we can help people get back to work and get back to school. And I want to really thank our county, Onondaga County's executive, Ryan McMahon, who we think has just done a fantastic job and really led in an extraordinary way through this very difficult time for people. So thank you guys, and thank all you county executives for all the hard work you're doing in this very, very unusual and challenging time. I think that just New York has been a really good representation of success here, and we couldn't be more grateful to be growing and providing value here in upstate New York. Real quick, our brand was originally founded by my father, Vincent Lobdell. He's been in the industry for over 40 years. building every type of technology you can possibly imagine. This kind of gives you a breakdown of our brands, healthway.com and telepure.com, and then Pure Wellness is an environmental solutions company that's now providing empowering top hotels all over the world, from Ritz-Carlton's, Hyatt's, Hilton's, Marriott's, installed in over 7,000 locations to provide a 7-step patented process towards healthier environments. And this started well before COVID for us. 14 years ago, this brand started launching that 7-step patented process in hotels. Healthway is a hardware manufacturer that provides, again, from small portable systems to large capacity, large scale industrial, commercial, residential systems. And telepure provides more of a residential approach to air cleaning. Next slide. Next slide. To give you kind of an understanding of our brand, we're a company that really believes in all technologies. It's the utilization of technology that's important. We've built everything from electrostatic to HEPA to ULPA, ultraviolet, air exchange, EMF, photocatalytic, DFS, several different technologies. And again, we believe in all technologies. It's the utilization of technology and how they're implemented in the building environment that really makes the biggest impact. And I think that's where, today I'd like to kind of explain how technology is utilized in buildings and how it can be utilized to create a significant positive impact, and to ensure that you guys as leaders understand that you can't just plug a portable in a space and say it's going to work. And that's really what we're trying to educate people on, is how can we provide solutions, true solutions, not products, to give people a better understanding of their built environment and how products and solutions impact that space. Next slide. To give you an idea of our company facilities, in Pulaski, New York, we have 3 locations. We do everything from CNC fabrication to prototyping and building products for other companies to commercial assembly. We also have a facility in Shenzhen, China that basically serves all of the Asian market, and total we're over 200 employees now. Next slide. Real quick, why are we here? It's not just COVID. I think I've been giving a lot of talks lately around this. I think the one silver lining with the COVID pandemic is that roughly 7 to 8 million people die prematurely from ultrafine particles. These very, very small particles that are getting lodged into our respiratory system, and our built environments are built so tight now that it's really hard for our buildings to breathe. And COVID's really created an awareness around how we can look inhibiting our built environment. And we see that this could be a very impactful way to actually save lives long term. 9 out of 10 of us are not breathing safe air. And everyone's heard of Dr. Tedros. He's calling air pollution the new tobacco. So it gives you kind of an idea of what the World Health Organization is stating. Next slide. We'll go through these really quick. The invisible killer, this is actually data from the WHO stating the deaths that correlate specifically from air pollution. Next slide. 68 believe that their house has a moderate to strong impact on their health. Next slide. Important, the number of workdays missed per 1,000 workers due to poor IAQ. This is a thing that's happening even after COVID. Go ahead. 65% are at least somewhat concerned. Next. And then the global pandemic. We urge people to obviously go to the CDC and really look at many different ways to help prevent cross-contamination, but we now know, and I think it's readily become knowledge in the space, that there is a likelihood that COVID is airborne. And what can we do to help prevent the spread of COVID in the space? And there's still a lot of studies and topics being done around this. We're working with some of the top experts around the world, like Dr. Joe Allen and some of the others, and daily on how we can look at the space and how AC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, how fluid dynamics and airflow through a building can impact health and safety, and how COVID could likely spread through that. Next slide. So what is EPA recommending right now? Eliminate the source of the pollution. Really hard to do that when we don't know where it's at. Second, dilute the air when possible. So the EPA has always been ahead of the curve. Air exchange is a really, really important thing. So diluting the air when possible is going to be very, very helpful. However, not many buildings are set up for this. Some are, some aren't. So this can be a challenge. We always tell people you can look at your AQI on your phone. Every weather app has the AQI, and a lot of times you can actually see the outdoor air quality. The outdoor air quality is good. Open a window and dilute that air when possible. We feel that that can have a significant impact. And then clean the air with a high quality air purifier. This was a recommendation pre-COVID. Let's go to the next slide, please. you'll see here, this was on 2 days ago, what are the experts saying? Joe Allen created a really great get back to work or get back to school program. And really he said, you know, we can wear PPE, we can do all these things, and we have to socially distance, and we have to be cleaning and sanitizing, all that's great, but there's 3 things that we should have been doing and that we can do and learn from now that'll make a substantial impact on the health and well-being of all occupants, whether it's during COVID or after COVID. And again, the first thing is increasing ventilation. You can do this through ERVs or HRVs. They're readily available from several companies across the market. The challenge you have in a lot of colder climates is, you know, bringing in fresh air from the outside costs building owners and government's money. So how can you do that cost effectively and not bring in more pollution? Lots of great companies that we can provide you resources to that could help you there. Enhanced HVAC filtration. This is a huge hot topic out there. We've heard what the governor's been doing and all these, I think a lot of messaging out there that is talking about HVAC filtration and particulate size, Merv ratings, and we'll talk a bit about that here later. Also, use of portable air cleaners, recirculating systems. And again, many companies utilize and build these products. There's a range of different solutions available, and many of them are good. But again, what a portable air cleaner is going to do is look at more of an immediate point of use solution that gives you the ability to create an air exchange rate inside that space, recirculation rate that's going to significantly reduce particle count in a given space. Next slide. What we've done and what's always been our mission and purpose at Healthway family of brands is really, we're not a products company. Again, we're a solutions-based company. Not all air quality problems are created equal, and that's why you'll see here that we have a full range of vertically integrated air cleaning systems to treat from a small operatory clinic. We're selling thousands of units to dental clinics and operatory labs like Crouse Hospital and up in Fort Drum and St. Joe's and New York City Health and Hospital, where we have small operatory clinics. We're putting the small unit to the left in. And then as you go up, you just increase your CFM or your output. And that essentially means we're exchanging more air in the space, and then all the way to integrated systems. I've shared the video so you guys can kind of see how that works, but really understanding how big the space is, sizing of the space is crucially important. We tell people we do not want to sell a product to folks where it's not going to work. We want to make sure that we're providing a true solution to the building environment, and that's why you'll see a full range of products. Next slide. A bit about our technology. DSS Technology was originally developed as, with a research and development grant from the U.S. government. What you'll see here is we're basically starting with a 100% sealed filter, and whether it's a small filter for a small machine or a large capacity filter for a skyscraper in Manhattan, we start with a filter and we're applying within a specific distance 15 kV of energy to the front and throughout that filter. We're permeating every fiber of that filter with that 15 kV charge. What we're actually doing is agglomerating particles, making those particles larger and easier for that filter to capture. So essentially we can achieve the highest level of efficiency with the lowest pressure drop, whether again in a portable or in an HVAC unit. What we're also doing is within that specific distance, instead of using light irradiation, we're using electrical irradiation. We're creating a form of microbiostasis inside that filter and essentially making it uninhibitable for mold, virus, bacteria, and fungi. Again, we build a substantial amount of UV systems and many different types of technologies. The biggest challenge we found with UV is unless you're really measuring the airflow velocity by the bulb, the intensity of the bulb, the shielding of particles, or you have a high efficiency collector that's collecting everything so there's a contact time, we've basically found them not to be very effective. And what we've done with this technology, again with the U.S. government grant, is how do we develop a technology that compensates for the drawbacks of that? And that's essentially what this technology does. Again, we're capturing super ultrafine particles. These are the lung penetrating particles that can cause respiratory disease, cardiovascular disease, stroke, heart attack, and then of course the viral sized particles. Next slide. This will just give you a quick breakdown of the different products. This is a portable machine that can run into 1,200 square feet. Next slide. The compact machine goes into more smaller, again, operatory clinics. We are installing these in a lot of small classrooms right now across the country. Many small office spaces where the HVAC system does not accommodate, cannot accommodate any type of filtration. So again, mission critical solutions for mission critical applications. Next slide. The Deluxe, just a larger unit for a larger space. Next slide. Integrated into a standard HVAC system, it provides near perfect air from every vent with the pressure drop of a Merv 8. So we're achieving greater than Merv 16 filtration efficiency with a Merv 8 pressure drop with no negative production of other items that could potentially go out the air and impact people. Next slide. Commercial units. Modular size units to fit any size building, integrated with HVAC systems for offices, schools, hospitals. It just kind of shows you here. And what we've done with FDNY and New York City Health and Hospitals, we kind of looked at this as a phase 1 to phase 2 approach. Everyone wants to see that people are concerned and are looking at how they can help people get back to work. And you'll see below here is a large capacity commercial unit, 1,000 CFM, and we have 2,000 CFM units, that all these locations are actually rolling these into spaces for immediate use to get people back to work. And on the back end, we're looking at a phase 2 on how to provide an engineering program where we can go in and look at a longer term approach to healthier spaces. But again, these portable commercial systems are giving people the ability to get back, providing a high level of recirculation, and we show substantially with a class 1 laser particle counter how much healthier the space is. We don't just talk about it, we do pre and post evaluation to guarantee the building, occupant owner, and the people that are occupying that space, the space is healthy and well. Next slide. Gives you a little more idea of introduction and application, whether it's supply, whether it's return, we can scale it to meet as much CFM as we need. From a technical standpoint, you'll see it goes from 1,000 CFM to 1,200 to 2,000 to 3,000 and can go up to 1 million CFM based on stacking. Getting a significantly lower pressure drop, for example, all of our inline solutions provide, again, Merv 16 filtration with initial pressure drop of 0.27, which is a Merv 8 pressure drop. Also, substantially longer filter life. What we found with a lot of buildings and a lot of the existing buildings in the New York State infrastructures, they're very antiquated. And what happens is there are buildings out there you can put a Merv 16 filter into, but 85 to 90% of the existing buildings out there cannot accommodate anything really above a Merv 11. And so we're going to talk about Merv and what that Merv chart stands for based on ASHRAE. But what we've been able to do here is, without a big CapEx spend, we can actually integrate a system that's going to give you the ability to provide the highest level of efficiency with the lowest pressure drop without a CapEx spend. Next slide. Application considerations. Again, we're working with some of the top Fortune 50 companies around the world. We were at the epicenter in Wuhan when this first started. We installed 400 portables at the top hospitals there, and it stretched all across when it went to Italy, and now here in the US. We were at the forefront of the New York City health and hospital crisis, Atlantic Health Systems, and now it's moving into all the office reopenings in Manhattan. And an application consideration that's much lower cost is looking at your space use, looking at your floor layout, furniture obstructions, and all that. And one of the key things for this is not only how effective we are, but how do people feel when coming back to work? And that's the visual recognition component of a portable. And this kind of lays out different spaces we're working in, and we're doing a tremendous amount of work all over New York State and a lot of great facilities right here in upstate in Syracuse in northern New York. And it's crucial just to look at there are realistic, and many companies manufacture them, cost-effective options to get back to work and make people feel health and safe. So next slide. People ask us all the time, there's a huge debate right now around Merv ratings. And for anybody that doesn't understand what Merv is minimum efficiency rating value of a filter. Two things really come into play when you look at a Merv rating. First, the filter may have a Merv rating, but how is the filter sealed in the system? What type of air bypass is in the system? What is leaking through the system? All these things, and that's really the significant challenge we have when we're fighting this air quality pandemic inside of spaces. But if you look at it from a standard, this is ASHRAE's guidance chart. If you look at it from a standard ASHRAE guidance chart, you look at Merv 11 to 13. We've tried to make this slide really easy for people that the efficiency rating for Merv 11 to 15 is 20 to 50% at 0.3 to 1 micron. Why we base it off of 0.3 is 0.3 is the HEPA standard, high efficiency particle arresting standard. 0.3 is roughly 900 times smaller than the tip of a human hair. You'll see as we go up the Merv chart, you actually have a fan, an air pressure requirement that starts to tick up. So right now on a Merv 11 to 13 filter, you're going to get an air pressure requirement that's lower. I would say 50% of the buildings can put this in, but even at MERV 11 to 13, you're getting a pressure drop. I think most of the facilities out there right now have a MERV 8 filter. I think that would be what's mostly standard on your traditional HVAC system. As we go further, MERV 14 to MERV 15, you're looking at 50 to 85%. MERV 16, of course, much higher, 95%, but you're getting to a point where you got that 4-level air pressure requirement, which creates substantial back pressure on the system, can really burden your HVAC motor, and it also, you're looking at substantial energy costs. So we understand that what building owners and what counties and states are looking at doing is how do we reduce costs, and building performance, and also reduce maintenance. As you go up to a HEPA filter, HEPA is more efficient than a MERV. You're looking at 99.97% to 99.99% at 0.3 micron. Very, very dense media filter, very, very effective at capturing particles. But the drawback you have with a HEPA, whether it's installed in an HVAC system or whether it's installed in a portable system, and we build a lot of HEPA systems, so we understand it very well, is a substantial pressure drop. So when you put a small portable HEPA in an office, remember, there's really two things for air cleaning to be effective. We need one, efficiency. How efficient are we at removing stuff from the air? And two, how much air exchange or how much air are we pushing through a filter to effectively create a positive air cleaning impact in that environment? And what you'll find with HEPAs, and all portable HEPAs, some of the ones we build for other companies, is on lower speeds, you're really not getting a high exchange rate. Of course, on higher speeds, as you turn them up, you can get a decent exchange rate, but it's noisy. So optimizing noise and creating a healthy but also a desirable work environment is going to be very important down the road. If you look at DFS technology, I want to go back to specifically what we're doing here. We're using a lower density media. We're using a MERV filter that is a synthetic MERV filter. And what happens with synthetic medias is at the beginning of a MERV synthetic filter, you have a high efficiency. But after that synthetic filter loses its charge, it loses its efficiency. What we're doing with DFS technology is we're continuing to enhance that filter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with that 15 kV, so it never loses its charge. And then the end result is we're achieving the highest efficiency of greater than 99% at 0.07 microns, 0.007 microns. Most labs don't even test to that requirement. We have substantial data that shares that, but we also, and we love to share with any county execs, we bring a lot of our partners in. You'll see that we have one of the most expensive concentration nuclei counters here. We can actually take a MERV 11, a MERV 12 to a MERV 15, 16, and put our system in and actually show the particle efficiencies and throughput of the filter. And so every one of our filters is individually certified and tested to provide the highest level of filtration efficiency with the highest level of output. What is that going to do? It's going to reduce your energy costs. It's going to provide protection against the ultrafine particles, and it's going to provide better maintenance cycle for your staff. Next slide. To give you kind of an idea, the most powerful air purification technology, you'll kind of see the range in size. We like this slide because it gives people an idea from a layman's terms of what size particles. The traditional standard was always built around PM 2.5, but as you can see, the traditional HVAC systems and really the market in and of itself, it was like pulling the rope for many years. Getting people to look at enhanced filtration or high quality, high efficiency portable air cleaners, people said, do we really need that? There's been a holistic shift towards how do we provide the highest level of MERV rating with the lowest energy penalty. We can't go back and just shut buildings down and say you can't open until you put a MERV 16 in. People would be out of business. Systems cannot effectively handle a pressure drop of a MERV 16. You'd have to basically do a wholesale change across many of these HVAC systems. But there are ways we can do it, and we're proving that today. Next slide. Well, one of the things we're really excited about, and I'll share this with the team, we researched one of the top infection control experts worldwide. His name's Dr. Syed Sattar. You do a simple superficial Google search, you'll find Dr. Sattar's accolades. He is an advisor to the US EPA and to the World Health Organization. He's an infection control expert. And when we looked at getting testing done, we wanted testing that actually was substantial based on actual use. And so our machines have been sent there. They're currently undergoing first ever enveloped and non-enveloped studies to give you an idea of what the difference is from layman's terms. One's hardier, They both represent similar viral sizes. The enveloped one is a bit bigger, but it gives you a broad range of viral and bacterial capture and destruction capability. So you test by proxy. You actually put the proxy virus in there, the proxy bacteria in there, you do the testing, and it gives you a representative example of what the potential implication could be against COVID-19. Next slide. Here you'll see that we just received our MS1 testing back from Dr. Sattar, and within 10 minutes of operating our commercial 950P system, you'll see 99.987% destruction, and in 45 minutes, 100%. And why they do 24 hours is they want to make sure that there's no regrowth. Virus, believe it or not, virus is actually not very hardy. So HEPA filters and a lot of other, even media filters, can capture when it captures through entrainment or through straining. You'll actually find that it's hard for it to survive unless there's a lot of nutrients basically built up in that filter. However, that's why you measure over 24 hours to show that has there been long-term permanent removal and destruction of SARS-CoV-2 or the RNA virus MS2, which is a proxy for COVID. Next slide. So I wanted to have a lot of time for questions, and I didn't know how technical to be. But one of the things we're most proud of is we're a small family-based company in Pulaski, New York. Much of our success has been given back to the community, and we believe in the fact that this community has been so good to us that we have to be good back to it. This slide here represents all the brands that we've been working with over the last 6 months to help them get back to work, to help keep essential workers safe, to certainly help automakers get back to building cars, and to help hotels reopen. And from our organization, we're a company that's been here for 20 plus years in Pulaski, New York. We've repurposed a lot of the buildings. We've redone the Calet Theater. Over 23 buildings and spaces here in upstate New York have been repurposed through the growth of our company. And we're really proud to be here. And our goal in this conversation is, whether we have a solution or not, is to help guide you folks with the right information and the right tools to help you get back to work. We offer site surveys to come out and look at the space, and we're doing that free of charge, especially here locally, so we can help people understand how their space is impacting their health. And if we can't do anything for you, we don't need the business. So we've got more business right now than the demand right now is at an all-time high. It's all about how can we help our fellow New Yorkers understand how their HVAC systems and equipment impact performance and building health. And so I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you guys today, and I'll open it up for any questions you have.
Okay, Vincent, this is Steve Aquario. Thank you very, very much for spending time with us today. I know how busy you are with the orders that you're taking from around the world, around the country, and this is a county government audience that you have with you here from across the state, representing different agencies in different parts of the county government. We do a lot of work with our chambers of commerce, and I think that a good takeaway here would be to let the chambers of commerce know that this type of product is available, that we do have this webinar here, which we will post on our website later on this afternoon, and that the county executives and county officials can let the chambers of commerce know about this on our website to watch it. All right, so I want to again remind our listeners to please type in a question on your question chat on your chat box on your computer screen there, and we'll ask Vincent Lobdell some of these questions. Let's start with one here, Vincent, about use of UVC with HEPA filtration has been demonstrated in medical application to eliminate viruses. Can you give us your design details on how to combine UVC with filtration technology?
Absolutely. UVC, as you heard in my conversation and in my presentation, UVC combined with a truly sealed medical grade HEPA is actually very, very effective. You're using a high efficiency collector to capture that viral load or the bacterial load, and then you're treating to the side of the media. The challenges we've seen when we built it is that if you're not treating on both sides of the filter, you could potentially get breathed through. But very, very effective way of looking at it. The biggest challenge you have with that approach from a antiquated building standpoint is it's really hard to put a high efficiency collector on a standard HVAC system. The pressure drop of that system is going to create too much load. You're not going to be able to push air through it, and it may be counterproductive. However, UVC with a truly sealed HEPA system operating in tandem has been proven to be very, very effective at capture of small particles and destruction of microbes inside that filter.
Okay, next question is, do you have documentation of the increased pressure drop on the DFS filters as they become loaded for a typical office suite?
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime you utilize a DFS system, whether it's tied into your building management system, it can operate based on pressure drop across that. We can basically tie that in and it'll show in the building management system. When you're looking at a portable system, we base it on a gram holding weight and a time weighted average. So what's going to happen is that light's going to come off based on the use of that system based on the general load in an environment. But yeah, so the portable systems, most of them are driven around timers. The integrated solutions that are tied into your air handling system are being utilized through the building management system or through a time that we set that we feel is commensurate with the load of a traditional building.
Vincent, are you hearing from around the country or some of your other customers, are government buildings, public access, buildings where the public has access to from around the country, are you seeing these types of buildings use this type of filtration system?
We have been implementing our solutions across a wide range of customers. We've done several buildings here in Onondaga County, but again, if you're talking about public safety, we're doing all the 911 call centers throughout Florida right now. In New York State, we've done several. I can give you a complete list of those. But yes, we are. Remember, when it comes to an engineered solution, the biggest challenge you have is time. Right now, the challenge we're all faced with is we have a significantly compressed time frame to do work that's likely not possible within that time frame on the scale it needs to be done. And that's why you're seeing a shift towards how do we get back to work, one. And that's why a lot of people are going and they're looking at how they can replace their HVAC filters to the highest level, and then they're supplementing that with portables. And then the second feature is then looking at a longer term approach to utilize higher efficiency HVAC systems. But again, compared to a 3M filter, even the ones off the shelf, our pressure drop is substantially lower than a Merv 8 3M filter you'll find. So we're getting a lot of adoption across several different buildings because you can use it in an antiquated HVAC system. You don't have to do a CapEx spend.
Okay. Is a DFS system appropriate for a home? And is it cost effective?
Great question. So the homeowner space is one of our largest markets. We launched a Super V, which is a 2000 CFM integrated HVAC system that ties to the supplier, the return side. We're installing thousands of those a month. We've signed contracts with Meritage, America's 8th largest home builder, to integrate that throughout their entire portfolio. They're building out about 9,000 homes a year, and that's going system-wide. And again, if you look at the challenge from a homeowner perspective, what are the things we don't do as homeowners? We don't change our filters, one. And when we do, normally we don't change them the right way. So this machine is professionally installed by an HVAC contractor. It's tied in. It's 100% sealed. And we call this a point of entry solution where we're providing near perfect air from every vent. And I always tell people, don't just listen to claims or have, we can manipulate any tests we want in paper and send it to someone. See how it actually works in your space. There's very simple and low cost tools that people can use now in a building. A laser particle counter can go out. It can measure the load in the space, particle load. You can put a system in and show how effective the building is after filtration. A real quick example of that, I was on Inside Edition last week. We did an office building, I believe that was owned by SL Green in Manhattan. The outdoor air quality was 4.5 million particles. We had a class 1 laser particle counter there. We had implemented portable solutions because we couldn't get to the HVAC solution. And within 45 minutes of operation, the particle load inside that space was below 200,000. So essentially there was a a 95% cleaning effectiveness rate that you could actually see. And that's where this whole industry is going. The technology is giving us the ability to actually see what we breathe. And as we do that, that's going to help building owners, governments, agencies, really help us understand how loaded a space is and how we can take even simple and decisive decisions like opening a window to improve occupant health.
Vincent, one of the questions here that's come in is this FEMA reimbursement. Will FEMA reimburse the local governments if we put in this filtration systems or filters into our nursing homes or into our public hospitals or into our courthouses, into our buildings where there's access by the public? You happen to know if that's a FEMA eligible reimbursement?
I was going to call you guys on that and ask.
Okay.
To be honest, no. We can look into that. I think that there's a lot of talk around reimbursement. We're working with insurance agencies from a private standpoint on what we can do. But there are topics and conversations around that right now. To be very transparent, I don't have an answer for you.
That's okay. Maybe some of our listeners that are listening right now could type into the chat box if they know the answer to that, or if they suspect a potential answer as to whether or not this type of equipment would be eligible for FEMA reimbursement. Some other questions is, does New York State Department of Health accept the DFS technology for COVID-19 protection?
So there's a standard that goes based off of how the machine performs. And so we've met all the standards around that. We're looking at right now as an opt add-on to the proposals so that can be. Yes, that's what we're working on right now.
Okay. For affordable 1000 CFM system, what is the approximate cost of that?
That system's going to range a retail, the 1000 CFM system around $3,900. But we're looking at a program where we can really help the state there and find a way to make it less costly.
Okay. On the DFS filters, if ordered, what is the potential delivery time right now?
On the larger systems, we're probably 3 weeks out. On the smaller systems, remember the thing with portables, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. They think, well, we got to get the biggest portable. We got a 4,000 square foot office space. Portables are only going to treat the air that can get to them. And that's why when you're looking at smaller classrooms, really understanding the floor plan and how these machines are going to operate is essential. And so there's a very low cost solutions, $550 solutions that can power small classrooms and give you the appropriate air exchange rate to have an effective impact on the space. So, ranging from $500 to hundreds of thousands of dollars, we can simply and quickly get to this the issue. On the smaller systems, you're looking at anywhere from 10 business days to 14 business days, depending on the quantity. We just provided St. Mary's in Minnesota 1,680 units in Michigan, and they're basically powering every classroom with this product.
The question here is, are Healthway brands available through the New York State contract? Before we have you answer that, we do know that one of the counties of New York is going to do a procurement, an RFP for this type of technology and this type of product. So they will include a piggyback on there to allow other counties to take advantage of that procurement. But right now, presently, are Healthway brands available through state contract?
Healthway brands, I believe our distributors are registered through the state portal. Okay,
so what you're saying is so yes, the answer to that question is yes, it is available through state contract right now through the distributors.
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to need to work with you, Vincent, to get the names of some of those distributors, and that we could put them up with this website on our website later this afternoon to make sure that we get that together. So thank you for letting us know. Also, one of the counties is going to do a procurement, and we can have that available as well. Do you have a DFS portable system that's combined with an air conditioner?
We do not. Believe it or not, we did have that 15 years ago, and we let the patent run up on it. At this point, we are only in the air cleaning space. We do not heat, we do not clean, condition, we do not dehumidify, we do not humidify. We basically align ourselves with great partners that really have the expertise in that space. Our core competencies, high efficiency air cleaning and scale across all competencies of air cleaning, not any of the other that are associated with it. One thing I will say too is we've just done this for Mohawk Global Logistics when they're having VOC issues. We really look at it from a total built environment. So even post-COVID, you know, there's going to be building issues, whether it's VOCs or harmful toxins. We worked with one group on. We come in and look at the space and develop a solution that meets that need, and we guarantee it, and we stand behind it.
Vince, can you talk a little bit more about your offer to come out and look at the existing HVAC systems, and does you know, for the counties and the courthouses and some of the other public access buildings that we have across the state, do you do this? Will you do this across the state? You know, in different areas of New York, or are you limiting yourself with that offer just in central New York?
We will do, we will look at any space that you guys, in reason, we will apply the resources needed to come out and look at the spaces so that you folks can get back to governing and doing what you guys do best. We need your support, so we'll give you ours. We're 100% committed to doing that. There'd be a schedule built around that. One of our people would come out at no cost to you, whether it's in Albany or whether it's in Buffalo or whether it's in Messina or whether it's in Binghamton. We will allocate the resources to come out and make sure you folks at least have our observation of a space. And how you take it from there is completely up to you. We have some excellent distribution partners that understand that, you know, this isn't the time to go out and drive up prices and try to take advantage of people. We want everyone to get back to work and get back to normal life. So we're going to support this as much as we possibly can. So the answer is we will provide you support in any market, in any part of the state.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple more questions here for our folks. Does the filtration fit into, and you may have already gone over this, but does it fit into the existing HVAC systems that are in place right now in a typical government office building?
The benefit of DFS is in 95% of applications, whether, and I can give you, we're working with branches, banks across the country. Some branches are new, some branches are old. So depending on the space, we either drive it with a self-contained system, which would have its own auxiliary blower and motor and would duct out and treat a much larger space, or it's tied directly into the supply or return of an air handling unit. And we find that in 95% of the cases, we can fit it. And if you can't, then no one can. We would go with a portable. But we believe that the benefit of this technology, the true benefit, is people weren't willing to pay. They didn't see the need for high efficiency air cleaning previous to this. The benefit of this is we can provide the highest level without CapEx. You don't have to exchange or change out your HVAC system or your existing blowers and motors in these systems. These can be tied to an antiquated, outdated infrastructure and give you the highest level of efficiency without the pressure drop.
Vincent, what is involved in retrofitting filtration, current filtrations, to accept the 15 kV charged filter?
It's a complete retro. So where your filter bank is, if there's space there, that filter would be taken out. Our filter is a deep V-bank system, so you've got a significant amount of surface area across that filter. It would be tied in. It would replace the existing filter in the system and would then become the replaceable filter element inside that. Where with your standard Merv, like a flat panel filter, you're going to be replacing that, what, I don't know, once every 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. This filter, in worst case, is going to be once a year replacement.
It seems like areas of mass congregations, these type of systems would be appropriate, things such as airports and that nature. Are you hearing from venues such as airports?
We're hearing from major sporting venues all over America. We're doing a lot of large capacity, large gathering spaces. Airports, we are working, again, a lot of our work is through engineers and sales engineer companies and companies that really understand filtration, because there's a lot of education that goes behind this. Right now, a lot of people are just trying to sell stuff. Our goal is to make sure that we work with partners that can properly educate building owners and occupants on what this stuff does and how it's going to be a long-term benefit. We do have a few partnerships in the airspace right now, where we have a project going at Abu Dhabi Airport, which is one of the largest airports in the world. Here in the U.S., airports have not been a big focus of ours, but it's certainly something that, this is the benefit of what we've done with this technology. It's completely modularized, meaning all you do is stack modules based on CFM. So it's not, I mean, it's easy to do. It's just a larger space.
Vincent, any work that you've been doing, New York, of course, being the epicenter of the pandemic early on in March and April, and certainly into May, and in a particular area, we had a real serious problem with the spreading of a virus within a nursing home. Yeah. More so than in a hospital. When you would think a hospital would be a hot zone, really, it turned out the hospital's rate of infection spread was very low. And unfortunately, in the nursing home setting, it seemed to be spread much more rapidly. Any thoughts about using this type of filtration system within nursing homes?
Yeah, so that would be pretty common if you think about the actual issue at hand. Hospitals do a pretty good job, you know, of equipping their space with HEPA filters, and they've got some precautions in place already that would help certainly prevent this. I mean, we've provided tens of thousands of machines to the New York City health and hospital system over the last 3 months. As you move to the nursing home space, very little is in place right now, and I think that's why you've seen so much spread and so much, you know, disaster there. This is very easily adopted to a traditional nursing home setting, and as you move out, I think a critical point, and we've had a really great working relationship with probably one of the best daycare center providers in New York State, Ed Alberts, has a really great early learning program, and we've actually installed all 7 locations for him as part of Oswego Health, and we actually have full-time monitoring. So at all times you can see what the outside air is and what the inside air is inside that space, and we can monitor it from particles to VOCs to temperature, humidity, and carbon monoxide. And so we've seen substantial interest in the nursing care market and elder care market, I should say, and in the assisted living, but we're getting much more adoption in the daycare space. I apologize.
Vincent, the governor has mandated Merv filtration systems for malls. What can you tell us about this executive order that would enable a shopping center or a mall, indoor mall area? What can you tell us about that executive order?
Well, I know there's been a lot of back and forth on it. You know, I believe they've set it a Merv 11, I believe, or a Merv 13. So, you know, I just base everything, our comments on that are based on, you know, look at the ASHRAE guidelines and is it handling the issue? We certainly believe that some filtration's better than no filtration, and I really don't think we can pick winners and losers, right? I think we just have to, there's got to be some personal responsibility around shopping malls and restaurants. I mean, if you're at risk, don't go out. But we really don't have a position. We just tell people they should probably look at the ASHRAE guidelines and decide if the filtration requirement is suitable for the issue at hand.
Are there competitors that have the same DFS technology that you have? Well, can you tell us a little bit about what the industry itself looks like?
Absolutely. So we're the only company, we have the worldwide patent on DFS. Again, DFS was developed as a U.S. research and development grant. We had a flat panel patent on that, and then we've gone with a deep V-bank patent around that. This product now is patented on a worldwide basis. There are companies that do, and so it's very clear so you folks can understand, there's electrostatic air cleaning, and electrostatic air cleaning is basically using a cell where they're charging particles positively and negatively and clumping them together. The challenge you have with electrostatic, very good technology, but you have to clean the cell all the time, and you can get a lot of negative byproduct. if it's not cleaned timely. And then you go to a lot of great companies out there building HEPA systems. And again, HEPA is a very useful technology, readily available, but there are significant drawbacks to HEPA, and that generally comes down to airflow restriction and the noise if you have to really drive air through it. And then you go through a wide range of other companies that have UVC, as you mentioned. But what I always tell people, and this is really, really important as there's become more of an awareness around air cleaning, is you have to look at total system performance. Don't buy an air cleaner because they say they're HEPA. If you're going to buy a HEPA air cleaner, make sure the total system performance is true HEPA. Because there's a lot of HEPA air cleaners out there that say they have HEPA filtration, but they just put a HEPA filter in and it's not sealed properly. There's bypass by it. I mean, what we do is we bring a bunch of systems in, we bring a laser particle counter, and we bring our distribution, and we show them what is the air coming in, what is the air coming out, has it reached the standard. And every single system that we send out, every single system that leaves this facility in Pulaski, New York, is individually certified and guaranteed to provide the highest level of filtration efficiency. 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 2 years ago, you know, we had to push to sell it because people didn't think, you know, is this needed? Now it's our real value proposition. It's our real market differentiators that we are guaranteeing every product we ship has a certain level of performance.
How about the application of the DFS technology in school districts in a setting where there's children or childcare? You mentioned childcare a few minutes ago. Any thoughts on existing school districts? I mean, if you had a look at the school districts within Oswego County where you are, would this type of technology be applicable? Could it be installed, you know, within the existing HVAC systems in the school districts in Oswego County?
Everything is about access to the space and time. And so what it comes down to, we're evaluating several schools across New York State and across the globe for that matter. And it really comes down to everything is such a compressed time frame right now. How do we get people back? So in my opinion, and what we've been talking to experts about, we talked about this 4 months ago, we think we should probably obviously reduce the load of people that are going to the space. We should create the social distancing guidelines, and we should power these spaces with high efficiency portable air cleaners that are going to give that air exchange rate and really reduce the particle load in there. Getting into engineering solutions is completely feasible, and we're doing it now. But to look at scaling that across the state from a time frame standpoint, you know how the state is with just getting into schools and being able to work through these different contractors that have, you know, the agreements with the schools. There's a lot of red tape to really push this through. And so for us, what we found is there's really a big opportunity to get people back by putting portables in as a phase one. And the benefit with putting portables in as phase one is a lot of these school districts have multiple facilities and multiple buildings. So it's not like you're spending money that can't be repurposed. These machines then can be moved to other locations where you have a mission critical issue. Maybe you have an outbreak of the flu in one building, and now you've got 15 portables that you purchased during this pandemic that you can move over to that space to make sure you protect kids during flu season. So we really think, and I think if you just research the experts in the space, you'll find that that's where the portables are really going to play a big role down the road. Is they're immediate, they're put in the space, they're going to give you a certain level of reduction, and then as time permits and as budgets permit, we can then provide infrastructure change, not from a CapEx spend, but actually looking at the HVAC system and providing an engineered solution around it.
Okay, we have reached our time limit here, Vincent. I'm sure that you have much to do on your end. I'm getting a lot of comments back here on the portal here. Thank you. This was a very good and informative webinar. We appreciate the time and attention that you have given us today, Vincent, and shared this with our members. This will be available, posted on our website. Vincent, you're going to let us know about distributors that folks can contact to access some of the filtration, and then we will also inform everybody when there's a procurement done if state contract is not a viable vehicle presently. So Vincent, on behalf of all the counties across the state, we greatly appreciate your time and attention, and we'll further distribute this webinar to others that couldn't be on the webinar today. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys, and for all you guys are doing a fantastic job leading New York State through this crisis, and that all of you should be very, very proud, and we're just grateful to have the type of leadership we do have here. So thank you guys for the opportunity, and again, we're a resource for anything you may need.
Okay. Thank you, good sir.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.